today, hearing my story, learning about me, and allowing me to share my story with you all. You know, I know that we're all a villain in someone's story, and I know I'm a villain in someone's story. Someone is a villain in my story, but it all works together. It all works for the greater purpose and the serving that God has on your life and the calling God has on your life. Today has been an adventure in its own, just preparing for this moment to allow myself to be on camera in an authentic way to share my story. I'm originally from Opelousas, Louisiana, small country town. I was raised by my maternal grandmother, Mary Taylor, rest in peace. And she has instilled so many good characteristics in me in regards to integrity, hardworking, alongside both my parents. I actually grew up with both parents up to the age of 5. I grew up in an abusive household. That's just the way my mom and dad showed their love for one another until, you know, it wasn't love. I've never been in an abusive relationship, thank God, but I always just felt sorry or the heart for women who had to experience that, because I know it's not easy to get away, and to see women go through physical abuse, mental abuse, and not having an outlet, and no one really understands. But once you are free and able to get out, you can just see life more clear and what God has for you. So kudos to my mom, who took initiative to leave, to get out in an environment that was no longer serving us. She took I've been exposed to another way of living. I was exposed that my dreams could come true, and just continue to move forward and have faith and know that God has something greater for me. I didn't know at the time what it was. I didn't know that I would be sitting here today sharing my story, but He did. So I just thank Him in advance for continuing to paving the way and guiding me. I'm ready for myself to get worked out. Perfect. Sharing my life story, sharing the history, and sharing why I decided not to look back but to keep going, because the women that were being attached to me. Started Women with Vision and Purpose in my mother's living room with 5 to 7 women, through mimosas and brunch, vision board, Mary Kay facials, and just having a good time. You know, our first event was very intimate. It was very loving. We did things, we shared stories, and then we were able to walk away not knowing that this was being birthed. Fast forward, I put it down. I decided not to work on the vision, not to become a woman with vision and purpose, until God was like, hey, I need you to pick this up. I need you to go out here and share your story with other women. And I need you to be okay in who I created you to be, and to use your gifts and to share with the world what it is to become a woman with vision and purpose. Our founding foundation scripture is Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain, so people who see it can run with it. You know, I've always been a person to initiate things. I've always been a person to put myself out there in regards to the things that I want, in regards to living my dreams, so people who are around me can hold me accountable for those things. So Women with Vision and Purpose is a networking platform where women from all over, all nationalities, can discover their core strength in the entrepreneurial world. We provide seminars, workshops, we provide ministry and marketplace events. Stay tuned. We are having I Am Capable of Winning Women's Conference December 2nd here in Houston, Texas. More But I just love the fact that I can use my gifts. I can bring women together, bring them on a platform to where they can be themselves. They can share their story, be comfortable in sharing their story, and know that we all need one another. We all need each other's story to get through the next phase in our life, and to be a pioneer, to do it scared, to be unapologetic, and knowing that, hey, there's some things that I messed up, but I can't change those things. I can continue to move forward and become a, not perfectionist, but just become better at the gift, become better at bringing women together, become better at sewing, become better at listening, become better at being a value person to individuals around me and in my community. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you all tune into these series of Don't Look Back. Whatever it is that you're facing in life, continue to move forward in spite of whatever is happening in your life, whether it's negative. Of course, if it's positive, continue to push back. Continue to push forward and not look back. Continue to share your story, and then continue just to connect with the individuals that God has connected you with. And you will be hearing from other women on how they have not looked back, decided to move forward, decided to keep going in spite of challenges in life. You can follow us online at WWWVP.online, Facebook and Instagram, Women with Vision and Purpose. And just stay tuned, stay locked in. This will be a place to where we can all come together and fellowship and just share our stories and love on one another. Stay tuned for what we have next.
So, hi everybody. My name is Latricia Jefferies. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And first off, I just want to shout out Chiquita for having me on this awesome documentary, just sharing my story. I'm always so excited just to share with others about what God called me to do. So, our very connection is a product of just how good God is, and just how He can expand you and cause you to do things to connect to other women to continue to grow you. So thank you so much, Chiquita, for this experience, and I'm just super excited about our connection. So I'm just going to dive right in. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania again, and I am currently living in Ohio. So I came out here for school back in 2010. And back then, like, I was still a young kid. I was 16, trying to figure out what God called me to do, what my life was in itself. So let me go a little further back. I grew up with a single mom. And my mom, y'all, she would work 12-hour days, sometimes two, three double shifts, like back to back. Not only that, she's a minister at our home church, and I have a younger sister. So I used to watch my mom tirelessly not only take care of us, but perform her duties in the church and also work double shifts. But let me tell y'all how she was fabulous while she did it. She always was so fashionable. She was known for her fashion at church, but I always worried about my mom, because she carried so much. I saw her in all these different leadership roles. She was my mom. And I just always worried about her because I wondered if she was truly happy or truly taking care of herself. I know that, seeing us with all the gifts, at Christmas time, and, that she was able to provide for us, that we had a safe place to live and all that good stuff was something that made her heart smile. But two, I know that there was a lot of things that my mom had went through growing up as a child and then going into her adulthood. However, she never, we never saw it. We never saw it on her face. She always showed up as herself, and I also saw her lose my great grandma because of childhood trauma. My mom was placed with her grandmother, which is my great grandmom, and at that time in her life, she was kind of trying to learn herself, but also trying to heal from trauma that she experienced as a child. So my mom ended up losing my grandmother probably in her I want to say 30s, but I never saw her cry. I never saw her get upset. She told us, that she had passed, and she just kept moving. So, just giving you guys a little backstory just to say that, as women, we are so strong. We are providers, we are caregivers, we look out for our families, but I think it's so important just to take the time for ourselves. We have to do mental health check ins, we have to do self care check ins, because we have to make sure that we are able to show one another that it's important not just to love ourselves, but to love other people. So, I just wanted to give a little backstory on my mother. So, fast forward back to going to school, I majored in psychology because watching my mom help other people and care for other people, I always wanted to do the same. So, I majored in psychology, and, not knowing what direction I was going to go in with psychology, I just knew that I wanted to help people. So, after I graduated, I ended up not going necessarily into my field. I ended up doing something that was like completely left field of helping people. I felt, I was in the mortgage industry. So I did that probably for about maybe 4 or 5 years, and then transferred to another program where I was working with youth, where I was helping them with jobs over the summer. And, I enjoyed doing that, but at the same time, I didn't feel that that was what God called me to do, because I always wanted to help people, but I was more of I want to help people on the inside, mental health, spiritual health. That was always me. So I enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? What will you have me to do? So during that time though, I went through a depression, because even though I felt that I was talking to God, you know how you can feel like you're talking to God, but you're not being honest. You're not being honest, like, God, this is what I really need. I need to hear from you. And not just being honest, you're not being honest with yourself and putting the necessary time into your relationship with God to get to know Him and what he has done and how he can do something in your life. So at that time I went through a depression because I wasn't surrendering, my fear, my depression, my moments of sadness to God. I was just kind of like, okay, God, speak to me, speak to me. So in that season of my life, I had a friend who kind of really got me through, because she was always on me to just apply for different jobs. She was like, you got to think out of the box and do something different. So I'm like, okay. So I ended up applying to become a CPS worker, which is a social service worker for basically the state, specializing in children in particular. So I applied, and when I tell you guys, I went to do the interview, and the interview was okay, but they show you a video. The video is on this really small television. It's probably like 8 to 10 inches, and it's about basically the kind of job that you're going to be doing. So they show a trailer, and it's two people walking into a trailer with a clipboard, and they're knocking on this lady's door, and the lady answers and it's like, why are you here? And they're just explaining they're there to check on the welfare of the children. So they go into the home, and when I tell you guys, there's trash everywhere, and the kids, they just look sad, they look malnourished, and the kind of questions, that they had to ask were just very direct. What does your income look like? What do the kids eat every day? What's your schedule? What school do they go to? And I was just like, wow, I had never been. All my other jobs, I had to be assertive, but I was like, this job is going to be different because I got to be face to face assertive. So I said, okay, God, well, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to see if this is for me. I'll give it a year. So they offered me the position, and I started working, and God used me in that field. God used me, and He continues to use me. I'm still in the field, but some some areas where you feel like you're not prepared, some areas where you feel like, okay, God, is this aligning with my purpose? I guarantee you it does. I guarantee you it does, because even if it's not what you think that you're going to be doing, as long as you are in relation with God and you're communicating with God, He can still use you in those positions. So I was able to connect with a lot of different women, And a lot of those women had a common story, a common theme of, I don't have a support network. There's no one to help me. I've never had support. My mom doesn't support me. My dad doesn't support me. Or they came from, traumatic childhoods, or, their parents were addicted to drugs. So God used me because I was able to shine my light when I met with these women and just give them hope and give them resources and give them love. So I just like fell in love with the job, which I didn't expect. So I fell in love with the job. But then I slowly started to realize that I was helping these women, but there was limits because it wasn't my organization. It was underneath the government, underneath the agency. So there's rules, there's regulations, and there's limitations. So for example, I would set up services for a mom for housing, but in the same token, they would say, oh, you got to be put on a wait list, or you have to wait until something is available. Well, most of my clients had situations where they needed housing at that moment, or they just needed to get out of a domestic violence situation. So I love the fact that I'm able to be used because I'm still currently in that field. I love the fact that I'm able to be used. However, I want to do more. And I'm like, okay, God, I know you are calling me to more. I'm loving what I'm doing. My purpose is definitely coming through, but I know you have more, and I know you have more for your people. So at that time, I went back to the drawing board, and I was just humble before God. I got back into my word, praying, doing my daily things, my daily encouragement, working on self, y'all, working on self. And at that point, God spoke to me. He said, I'm calling you to do something big. And I'm just like, okay, God. And I was in the shower, and I remember the exact moment. It was actually in 2017. I had been probably in the social work field at that point for about a year and a half. And he's like, yeah, I'm calling you to do more, something big. I'm like, okay, God. And he's like, I want you to start a women's empowerment organization. And just the thought of it was, scary. It was overwhelming. It was like, God, I'm in another state. My mom isn't here. I don't have that resource. I don't have, just all of my other family here that could really help me get this thing off the ground. And God is like, I would never leave you. I would never forsake you. And I would never give it to you if I wasn't going to carry you through it. So I said, okay, God. Then I said, what would I even call it? And he said, me first. Oh my gosh. So at that point, even though God had given me what he had for me, y'all, in 2017, it was not until 2022 that I birthed me first. So also that's just proof that God sometimes will reveal things to us, but we have to be in a position where we're ready to operate in it. So I had this vision, but it wasn't time. It wasn't time. So in 2022, actually, let me go back. In 2021, the end of 2021, I have a cousin who is a pastor. I attended his church for New Year's. It's like a thing that my family does every year. We go to church for, New Year's. Born and raised in the church. That's what we that's what we do. So went to church, me and my husband, and my cousin prophesied over us both. He said that God is calling you to do ministry different. And I know you guys feel like you're scared and you're not ready, but the time is now. It is now time to do the things that you're terrified to do, because God is going to be with you, just like he said. And there was more things, that was spoken over my husband and his ministry, because he also has a ministry for men, a men's support group. So I was just like, oh wow, God, this is real. So my cousin prayed over us. He laid hands over us. And from that point on, no exaggeration, guys, went because I went to Philly for church, of course. So I came back here to Ohio, and I said, I gotta make this thing happen. Now is the time I gotta make this thing happen. So I started just writing, and I got my notebook. So y'all can see I love Mickey. But I just started writing. And actually, I had already started writing in November, but it was my cousin speaking over it for confirmation. Like, you know it's from God if you get confirmation from his word, if you get confirmation from the people that he has in leadership, like the pastors, you know it's confirmation if it all lines up that it's from God. If it's within his character, it's from God. So, y'all, I just started writing and I wrote out what the mission would be. I wrote out what activities I wanted to do. I wrote out different things I wanted to do to help women. Like one of the major things that I've been able to do is a drive for domestic violence. So next month is domestic violence awareness. I think it might be one day. However, I do like a drive where I got a whole bunch of suitcases last year and I put, different toiletries and things in the suitcases and I went to the shelter and just dropped them off. And when I tell you guys, there was no greater feeling than doing that because I was able to just be present for someone else, let them know that they're loved, let them know that they're cared about. So let me go back and just let you guys know that Me First LLC is a safe haven for women. We are here for you. We are a place where you can come and be mentally equipped, you can be spiritually encouraged, where if there is something that you are struggling with, whether it is depression, whether it is self care, you need to know self care tips, how to better care for yourself mentally. If you just need a support, if you just need your sister, it's a safe place where you can come and be vulnerable and say what's on your heart, say what's on your mind, say the things that you are struggling with. Because when I tell you, when God gave me this vision back in 2022, I'm standing before you or sitting before you in 2023 and letting you know that God has done a healing transformation within my life just by me focusing on what he has for me and loving myself the way he loves me. So I stand before you letting you know that not only is Me First healing me, but it has helped me heal others through my healing. So I just thank God for using me as a vessel and birthing this huge thing through me. Our mission is just to be present for you women, for women, and to provide resources just to help, just to get you over maybe something that you may need help with. If it's diapers, we do resources for diapers. Like I said, we did the domestic violence drive, and we also did an event on breast cancer awareness. I have an event coming up this month in September on the 22nd where we'll be talking about suicide awareness. So I just want to talk about different things that are happening in our world and let you guys know that you are loved and let you guys know that we can heal together, we can love on each other, and that love has the power to change any and every situation. So I just want to again thank Chiquita for this opportunity, and I'm just super excited to share my story. I pray that it was a blessing for you, and I love you guys. So,
My name is Natalie Batiste. I am a mother of one beautiful daughter, Soraya Batiste. I am a business owner. I am a Christian counselor, paparazzi independent consultant, Mary Kay consultant. I am truly blessed and honored to just come on and share some of my testimony, not looking back. And I am reminded that no matter what you go through, God is always there with you. No matter what it's looking like, know that God is there with you through the pain, through the circumstance, through every hurt, through every hiccup. He is there with you. I am reminded in his word, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. So, any situation that I have been going through, I reminded of his word. I go back to his word and be reminded of his promises that he has told me that don't look back, don't give up. I am there with you. I will always be with you. So I am just honored to just briefly share
something to let you know that you do not have to look back. Your past is not where you at now. Your future is so much brighter. Never take every moment as to be like, okay, why I'm going through this. It's for your pressing, it's for your pushing, it's for your pressing, it's for your breakthrough. So continue to push no matter what it looks like. Philippians 4 and 13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I can share a time when I was going through, when I was in school and in college, didn't know how I was going to make it, didn't know how I was going to get through my classes or whatever like that. But I am reminded I did not let dyslexia keep me down. I kept pressing. I kept pushing through because I was reminded of his word, Philippians 4 and 13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So I'm not looking back. I'm moving forward and I'm thanking God for what he is doing in this moment and in this time in my life to be a blessing to whoever hear this, that don't worry, don't stress, don't doubt. I'm going to remind you again. Pick up the word and he will give you the answer that you need. Let not your heart be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. Do not look back. Press forward.
Hello, everyone. My name is Porsche Colts, and I am the founder and CEO of Breaking Barriers No Boundaries Incorporated. Breaking Barriers No Boundaries Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit mentoring organization program for youth girls ages 12 through 20 in the Columbia, South Carolina area and surrounding areas in South Carolina, in our metro and rural areas, as well as Atlanta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're looking to expand and do more outreach in other areas as well. And Breaking Barriers No Boundaries was established in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic during COVID. But before that journey even started, I always had a passion for mentoring girls and working with youth. So I started working with youth girls, just youth in general, around about 20 years ago. At a summer camp, I started working with youth, just volunteering, and loved it. Loved everything about it. Loved working with the youth. Loved seeing the impact of when they have a mentor, someone in their life that shows that they care and that they're there for them. And it's a genuine process as far as like getting to know them, working with them, and just seeing them go through their changes and their growth as well. And so from there, I've always had a passion to continue to work with youth, but more so focus on the girls. As a young girl myself, I've always looked to mature girls, was always looking for a mentor and a guide, just from my own personal background. So I lost my mother at the age of 3, and I was raised by my grandparents, her parents, and just although I had my grandmother was strong. It was my maternal figure. I always yearned to always have, that a mother-daughter bond with my biological mother. Unfortunately, that wasn't, you know, in my case, she was passed away early at the age of 3. And so just with that led to a lot of just different changes and emotional young childhood trauma for me. And so just growing up being different from the other children, from the other girls, really impacted the way how I had to maneuver through my childhood. We had school programs and activities, and every time I would look around, my grandparents were there, but then there was always something about seeing the other kids or my classmates, they were there with their parents, and it was like, oh, I wish my mom was here type thing. And so around the age of between 9 to 12, I was introduced to a mentor. She through church, and she became my mentor. And it started out as just writing, and she was my pen pal. And she connected and stayed with me from the time that I was in middle school all the way up to high school. And just having her there, I just saw the impact of how much it mattered and how much it meant to me. So just with my own personal background and my obstacles, I've always wanted to break the barrier. I didn't want anyone to have any pity on me, or to look down on me just because of circumstances or background. And so for me, I've always wanted to justify those odds. I didn't want to be a statistic. I want to beat the statistics. And so for me, it was just a matter of always moving forward and not looking back, because you don't get anywhere. I mean, if you look back, I mean, it's not going to help you. It's not going to progress you or move you. And so a lot of times I saw that, even if you decide to just stop or stay stagnant, at some point there's someone there who can uplift you and help you. And that's where mentorship comes in. As far as like for me and working with youth and starting the nonprofit. And so I was in the military on active duty and was transitioning out back into regular, normal civilian life. And so I decided that I wanted to do work in mentorship services and offer it to the community that I was living in, currently am living in, and I want to make an impact. And so that's kind of like how Breaking Barriers came about. Eventually, prior to 2020 and 2019, I lost my grandmother. So that was another loss for me, or, some people would say, a setback. So not only did I lose my mom at an early age, but now my grandmother and the woman that raised me and that stood in as my mother figure is gone. And so that impacted me differently, and it caused me to kind of rethink my life and just really want to live and move in purpose and be intentional. And so, just going through those phases of grieving and transitioning and just processing different things and moving through life, what really just kept me going was my faith in God, and just knowing that he never left my side. And just knowing that there were other people out there who may be going through the same thing, or girls who may have other barriers or obstacles to overcome. And so that's where, I would come in, or mentorship, and be an example and show that you may go through A, B, C, and D and go through all these things, but you don't have to do these things alone. And you can use your obstacles as stepping stones in life. Those stepping stones are pivotal moments. And I truly believe that anything it can be overcome. You can overcome anything. It just takes a positive mindset. It takes the willpower, and it also helps when you have a mentor and someone leading you and guiding you. And so the passion to really work with girls, especially during their middle school and high school ages, through those phases, has been a tremendous impact. And I just continue to move on, because for me, it's in my purpose and my calling. And I just want to do my purpose and what God has called me to do, and keep going, because someone out there, may be looking for you. You may be part of the answer. You may be part of the solution to someone growth, or someone progressing, or someone just making it through another day, versus someone who may feel hopeless. They may not know exactly what to do or have the answer. And unfortunately, sometimes a lot of people, they get stuck and they do get down. And a lot of people do look back, and they may have regrets. But it's best to always look ahead and just to keep going, and always remember that you're important, you matter, and you don't have to do it alone. When it comes to breaking barriers, I always share and tell, my mentees and the girls, like, barriers and obstacles are inevitable. They're a part of life. Everyone goes through it. We live in this generation where it seems like we're in a microwave era, where things are supposed to happen like that and happen fast. And reality is a lot of times life doesn't pan out and work that way. It's just something that, may happen to a few people, or it's just not real. We're in this social media age and phase, and everything has to be on social media, has to look a certain way, be a certain way. And that can cause girls to go through different things such as self-esteem, body image, even dealing with conflict and conflict resolution. In our mentorship program, we discuss self-esteem. We talk about confidence. We talk about self-awareness, bullying. We talk about just even the dangers of being on social media and even talking and communicating with strangers. So there are dangers out there. There's so many things that the girls are facing in this generation that I didn't necessarily have to really face immediately head on, but they're in a phase and era where we have social media and it has to happen now. And they get disappointed when things don't necessarily go their way or how they thought that it should, or it should look like a certain way. And so I share a lot of the ups and downs, a part of, my own personal obstacles. We have speakers and we do different workshops where we have people of the community that come in, and share their story and share that, the different paths that they went through and how they got to where they've gotten in their life, and how they've overcome obstacles as well. Because it's great to look and see the celebrities and the entertainers and the basketball players and all these different people that we see on TV or hear about in the media, but there's greatness around you too. And one of the things I try to mentor and share with my girls, that there's greatness in them too. So there's greatness in you. And I always like to pose and ask and share with everyone, one of the things that we say at Breaking Barriers. And I just ask that all of you, if you decide that you want to look into more about breaking barriers, if you want to look into mentorship or volunteer opportunities, or come to one of our workshops or lead one of our workshops, you can visit us at www.bbcb.org or contact me, find me on social media. We are on social media, Instagram, Breaking Barriers, Zero Boundaries Incorporated. It's very long, but you can find us there. It's very easy to find. And I just like to pose to you one last question. Obstacles will come. Will you fold or break barriers?
My name is Sharmaine Mallet, and I am the owner of Sharmaine Mallet Consulting. I am a single mother of two beautiful kids. I have a girl and a boy. I decided to start my faith-based business because of my story. My story gives you an insight of who I am. A lot of people go through life feeling like they're alone, nobody can relate to them, nobody will understand, and that's how I felt. And I felt that I had to isolate myself away from everybody. But I thank God for using me and showing me that even though I felt like I was going through hell and I was actually preparing my next chapter. Now, I've been life coaching before the title was life coaching. I've been praying, ministering, interceding for friends and family, co-workers, and I just decided to put a title on it. So my journey through life, starting to be a young mother, was difficult. Being in an abusive relationship, then getting married, and then getting divorced. People feel that getting divorced is like a life sentence, like it's a tragedy or something. No, we bounce back from that. God wants his children to be happy. And I knew God wanted me to be happy, and I had to remove myself out the situation because I felt like I went through so much. And you know that saying, hurt people, and I was hurting, and I figured everybody had to hurt as well. And I didn't want to bleed on my children. They could stay in their vision and they won't see the good that God has. And even though we go through storms, our breakthroughs around the corner, there's always a way out with God. And I didn't want what I was going through to affect my children. But I have to say, it did. It really did. But in a good way. My daughter dealt with depression, and seeing her mom goes through that, she began to be bitter towards the man that I was dating. She was able to learn to forgive people. She said, Mom, how are you so easily just forgive people for what they done to you? I said, because God forgave me. For everything that I have done, God forgave me. So you have to learn to forgive others. So this is why my story means so much to me. I feel like my story needs to be heard. Even if I touch only one person, I'm happy. But I tell you what, my story is not done. That firstborn goes through the hell with you. Oh, they feel it. They feel the hell that you go through. That firstborn, and she was my firstborn, and we went through some hell. But I thank God that we found our victory, we found peace, and our bond is just, oh my goodness, it's unbreakable. That's my best friend. And I thank God that he was able to heal her from what I was going through. Because sometimes when our kids come to us, we don't know how to respond to help them. And we quick to anger and say something ugly or something that discouraged them. And we don't really know what's going on with them. And me, because I was hurting, everybody had to hurt. So when she would ask me something, I'm lashing out, I'm angry, and all this at her, an innocent child. But I thank God for that healing, that deliverance. I thank God for opening my eyes to see myself outside of myself, if that makes sense. It was a breakthrough for me. And to this day, this very moment, I can say my child is healed. She is healed. She knows how to forgive. She knows how to pray. And it fell upon her brother. And he knows how to pray. And they have the challenges where they are saying Bible scriptures and seeing who remembers the most or the books of the Bible. And I love it. Even at the age of 18 and 15, I love that. And I thank God because I just don't want to know God because my grandmother said so, or my mom said so, or my pastor said so. I had to know for Sharmaine. I had to get on that personal, intimate level with God and know God for myself. And I think that my business reflects that. It reflects the healing of young women. We go through so much. Sometimes we don't want to share because we don't want people in our business. And that's okay because sometimes we need to open up. We missed out on so many moments, so many breakthroughs, so many blessings, so many connections if you don't let that go. And trust me, I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn it the hard way. Till this day, I still deal with things that I found myself trying to look back on something. And when I was asked to speak on this, don't look back, don't look back. Don't ever look back. And a lot of people say, I only look back to see how far I've come. I don't even want to look back because I might choose to go back. No, don't even want to turn that way. So I stayed looking forward to the future, to what God has for me. You know, I'm excited. It's just the best thing for you to know God for yourself. It's the best thing to know, hey, I'm here. I did it. Through all the hell, I'm here. Not being married to my kid's father, girl, you are more than that. And God said, get up, keep going. Don't look back. Oh, no mistakes, no past issues. Don't you look back. You keep looking forward. And that's what I've been doing. I've been looking forward. Every day I wake up is a blessing. Every day I hear my kid's voice or a text from my daughter, it's a blessing. I don't look back. I won't look back. I can't go back. Grateful to God that he still is the author and he still holds the pen to my story. And I'm getting ready for a new chapter in a couple months. I'm going to be 40 years old. Who would have thought? Who would have thought a single mother to a divorcee, being abused, physically and sexually assaulted, that I'll be here today, smiling, proud. When I look in the mirror, I love who I see. And every time I look at my scars, I feel proud of myself because there's a lot of things people count me out. And I sit here and tell you, I'm an entrepreneur. I love the business that I started. I'm a nurse. I'm a pharmacy tech. I'm an EKG tech. I'm a phlebotomist. I keep going. Nothing can stop me. My past can't stop me. Nothing. The devil cannot distract me and tell me you cannot because God said you can. I say this faith-based business is to help women know you are not alone. You are not alone. If God did it for me, he will do it for you. Trust me. That's why I feel that some of us, we see other people here and we get intimidated and we fall back, we isolate, we get insecure. No, sis. Let me tell you something. I'm not your competition. I'm confirmation that it can be done. Don't ever let your situation or where you do not look back. Don't limit yourself. Keep pushing and push forward. I'm going to tell you a secret that I always tell myself. Anytime the devil tell me I'm not that, I am that, God said. And when the devil tell me I can't do that, God said you can do all things through me. And I keep pushing. You have to keep encouraging yourself no matter what. Keep encouraging yourself. One of my friends told me, how can I come back from what I've done? It's nothing that God won't forgive you for. First, you have to forgive yourself. God has already forgiven you. And why would we sit there and dwell on something that God has forgiven us for? I don't want to remember nothing. God has already forgiven me. I'm moving forward. Don't ever think that you did something out of this world that just God don't care for you. Don't ever think that you cannot do it. And that's why I keep pushing. That's why, because I have so many people count me down, count me out, and coming against me. And it pushes me to do better. And especially because I have two beautiful children who always say, Mom, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. That pushes me. That makes my head big. Sometimes I feel like I can't even fit through the door because it makes me feel like all the hell you went through and your kids are still proud of you. That's a feeling that I catch in the guard. And she writes me every day and tell me about, Mama, I thank you for praying with us. I thank you for instilling the word of God in us. She said, Mama, I was scared at first when I came here, but you just don't know how I feel now. Now she's thinking about going fully active. She goes to church every Sunday. And I've learned to not push God on them, but to let them see the God in me. And when my kids see why my faith was so strong in God, why I trusted God, look at them today. I'm super proud of both of my kids. I'm proud of me. So that's what I'm telling you. Step out on faith. Open up. Let people know, hey, you know something? I'm not doing good today. Find somebody who you can trust. And I know my grandmother used to tell me, talk to God because he won't tell you business. Okay? It won't be repeated. It'll be stay between y'all two. But I want a lot of women to know I'm here. Sis, if you want to talk, I'm here. Judgment-free zone. I done been to things we can relate. Let me tell you something. This world will lie to you. It will tell you that you cannot be anything. Get into your Bible. Read your Bible. Get you some good friends. Let's go have some coffee. Let's read some Bibles. Let's encourage each other. Let's talk business plan. Share. Open up and share because our mental health is very important. It's very important. I love the fact that I have this friend. If I text her, she'd be like, I'm calling you because something just wasn't right in your text. Like she could catch on to anything. That's the type of people you need to be connected to. And as Sharmaine Mallet Consultant, that's what we're about. It's judgment free. Come on, sit, let's talk. I'm not going to judge you. I will be here to listen, to encourage you, to push you, and to be transparent with you and let you know, hey, sis, I've been there. I can relate. But don't let this world fool you. Keep looking forward. Look up to God. God got you. Follow him, stand on him, lead. Look, I put a post on Facebook that said, it seemed crazy when they said that God left the 99 to save that one, especially when that one is you. Baby, that one was me. He came back for me, back, okay? I was out there doing some things. Sis, look, it wasn't even in the Bible. Don't get distracted by what people post on Facebook because that's a facade. They just show you what they want you to see, not the truth. Focus on you. Stay in your own lane, your own race, at your own pace. No distractions, okay? Nobody to get in your way. Stay focused on yourself. But pay attention to your mental health. Pay attention to your circle and your surroundings because I'm telling y'all, it's important. I can't even stress that. Like, it's so important. It is so important. But I think that a lot of ladies, we deal with insecurities. And I think we grew up where if you had a problem, you didn't say anything. Shut your mouth. That's not real. It's real. Mental health is real. Abuse is real. Suicide is real. And when I look at my children, it was not an option because sis, let me tell you, I tried it. I tried it. I have the scar. I tried it. God said, no, ma'am. He did not let me succeed at it because I had purpose. Okay? And I'm going to share something with you. I was probably 19, 20, maybe 21. I was living in Texas at the time. I just need to feel love. I need to feel love. And 3 months later, I found out I was pregnant. God said, I'm giving you something to love. And in that moment, it was like, I have to live. I have purpose. I'm going to tell you, it wasn't my plan, but it was God's plan. And I'm so grateful for God's plan because it changed my life. I became a mother, truly grateful. And I know that there's a lot of women out there who have a story to tell or who's going through something and just need someone to listen or a shoulder to cry on. I'm here. God said, when you thought you was being attacked, he said, I went before you. I was getting the next chapter ready. So the hell you was going through is preparing you for something amazing. That's why I say God's timing is the best timing. And that's why I'm so grateful. I don't regret anything I went through, any hell, the abuse, Nothing, because it made me who I am. I don't regret being a single mother or having kids. They're my blessings, in spite of my situation and circumstances, because I know a lot of people like to shut people out because they're not married. They have kids out of the way a lot. Yeah, okay, but I'm still human. And God used that. Did you not see the people God used in the Bible? Okay. And you don't think God can use me? You don't think God can use you? This, tap in, because we need to talk. It's a great feeling that knowing you went through so much hell. You don't need to look back to be reminded. Keep looking forward. It's nothing back there. If I have that gift to pour into someone, to help someone find their way, to help someone heal, to help someone say, hey, sis, you're right. I'm not right. I need some help. I'm dealing with some things. Girl, I don't know. Girl, I'm telling you right now, them kids getting on my nerve. I can't take it no more. Girl, the man gotta go. Girl, life is life. And like they said, tap in, sis. Tap in, because we definitely need to talk. We're here. And we all need a safe place to go. That pain that you're enduring, take that pain and turn it into purpose. Okay? Because there's a purpose in you. You woke up this morning, there's a purpose. You're still here, there's a purpose. God can still use you. Broken or not, baby, that's when he does his best work. Trust the process. It's worth it. It was worth it. Because if God showed us this part, we'd have never put in the work to push to get where we're at. We would have just tried to take shortcuts to help and get to this. But it's a process. And I'm grateful for everything I went through. Every tear I've cried, everything. I'm grateful because it made me to be the woman and the mother I am today. And God gets all the glory.
There's a lot of things that we have in store for you all. There are going to be retreats happening. There are going to be workshops. There are going to there's going to be mentorship happening as well. So just make sure you stay tuned. Make sure that you are plugging in and just sharing this platform with other women with vision who are in business, who are deciding to not look back. And just thank you for the individuals, the support that I get online and offline. I appreciate you all, and thank you. Let's do prayer first.
Sure.
Real quick. I don't think I'm coming back. I've been exposed to something different. I've been exposed to another way of living. I was exposed that my dreams could come true. And just continue to.
And he's like, I want you to start a women's empowerment organization. And just the thought of it was, scary. It was overwhelming. It was like, God, I'm in another state. My mom isn't here. I don't have that resource. I don't have.
No matter what it's looking like, know that God is there with you through the pain, through the circumstance, through every hurt, through every hiccup. He is there with you.
I was in middle school all the way up to high school, and just having her there, I just saw the impact of how much it mattered and how much it meant to me. So just with my own personal background and my obstacles, I've always.
There's a purpose. You're still here. There's a purpose. God can still use you, broken or not, baby. That's when he does his best work. You know how they used to say a broken crayon still colors? Get to coloring, sis.